What's going on, everybody, and I hope you're enjoying your Thursday morning so far. This is NYG Jeffy T 85 here, and how can you complain if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan? I mean, the Brooklyn Nets are right now going out there, and they're playing absolute tremendous basketball. They just last night dismantled the NBA champion, defending NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. Yes, it was out without Steph Curry, Andrew Higgins, and Klay Thompson. But they still went out there and they dismantled that team 143 to 113. They won 7 straight games. They have now won 11 of their last 12. They are 20 and 12 on the season. They're in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference. And they have a big time matchup against one of their biggest rivals in the Eastern Conference the past few years in the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is where it's going to lead to my point. I want to see the Brooklyn Nets play this type of basketball on a consistent basis, and they've got to beat these top teams in the East. They've already lost to Boston. They've had issues playing against Milwaukee. The Nets have got to rise up against the best competition in the East. And I include the West as well. Phoenix, Dallas, Denver, Memphis, New Orleans. These are the teams that the Nets have got to raise their level of play in the Eastern and the Western Conference if this team wants to be taken seriously as a legit NBA championship team. Now, right now, the Nets are shooting the lights out. They are one of the, if not the top team in the NBA in terms of three-point percentage. They shot 64% from the three-point line last night. They also shot 64% from the field last night. This team is getting it done through teamwork. They're getting it done through passing the basketball. This team is getting it done by sharing the ball with their teammates. But you're going to have to start doing this against the top teams. Boston and Milwaukee are the standard bearers in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee winning the NBA championship a couple of years ago, and Boston making it to the NBA Finals last year. And the Nets have had a lot of trouble playing against both these teams in recent years. Obviously, them getting eliminated in the 7th game a couple of years ago in Barclays Center, which I've still not gotten over. And then, obviously, last year, getting swept by the Boston Celtics. Now, obviously, things are a lot different. This Nets team is a lot deeper now. You got a full season of Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. You also got Yuta Watanabe in there. You got Markieff Morris. You got the younger kids having a little bit more development in their second year. You got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, both healthy now. You got Joe Harris healthy. You got TJ Warren and Edmund Sumner brought in there as depth. You brought back Patty Mills. You have a hell of a lot of depth on this roster now, and it's been showing in these past few games because of the fact that the Nets have had multiple guys on night in and night out basis going out there and scoring at least 10 plus points a game. But I want to see this team get it done against the top level competition because that is where the Brooklyn Nets will be defined as a basketball team amongst their peers in the NBA. I know most Nets fans aren't going to care. I don't really care what other pundits really say when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. But in reality of things, the Nets, they're right now being said as a team that right now they're on a hot streak. But at the same time, I don't know if a lot of people still believe in this basketball team to be a legit NBA championship team, even with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on the roster. And what's the best way you could change these minds of these pundits? Go out there and beat these top-level teams, especially in the Eastern Conference. And I'm pointing right at Boston, and I'm pointing right at Milwaukee. Because in reality, those, I think, are the only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that I believe are on the level of the Nets, if not maybe a little bit better, because of the fact that those 2 teams have primarily been together as teams for years. I mean, you look at Boston's team put together. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you got Marcus Smart, you brought back Al Horford, but he was pretty much with the Celtics before he came back. You have Derek White over there. You got Peyton Pritchard. You got Robert Williams. You got Grant Williams. Now you add a Malcolm Brogdon. That team has been together mostly for a very long time. And then you look at Milwaukee. Bobby Portis. You had obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo. Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Grayson Allen. That team has been together for a very long time. The Nets need to go out there and they have to be able to take care of business against these types of teams. Do I think they'll be able to do it? Yeah. You know why I feel that confident? Look at the Nets' depth on this roster. And that's the one thing that gives any Nets fan, or should give any Nets fan, confidence going against these other top-level teams in the East and in the West, is the depth on the roster behind Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, because this is not just a Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving basketball team. You have other guys on this team that can go out there and they could score 10-plus points, they can get 10-plus rebounds, they can get 10-plus assists, they can also block shots, they can defend well on the perimeter, on the outside. You have multiple guys that can do that. Case in point, last night, the Nets had 9 players that scored in double figures, and it actually was close to being 11. Balanced scoring, teamwork, passing the ball, efficient on offense, and for the most part, improved play on defense. I want to see the Nets go out there, and the reason why I'm making this video is because it has a lot to do with the Nets' next opponent, which is the Milwaukee Bucks at Barclays Center on Friday night, tomorrow night. The Nets need to go out tomorrow night, and they need to make a statement against Milwaukee and let everybody know the Nets mean business, and they are not this fraud team that has been beating up on, some might say, lesser competition. Go out there and lay a statement against the Milwaukee Bucks at Barclays Center. Let them know, and let all these people that still might not believe in the Brooklyn Nets that this basketball team is for real. That this basketball team is a legit championship contending team. Now, I still believe that this team could use another big man in the front court to compete with a Boston and a Milwaukee that might beat the Nets when it comes to size, because the Nets are a more wing-oriented team. They have a lot more perimeter guys than they do front court players. But at the same time, the Nets need to go out tomorrow night and they need to make a statement against the Milwaukee Bucks, who have been a thorn in the Nets' backside for the pretty much duration of the last few years. The Bucks have always been one of those teams, along with the Celtics, that have just had the Nets number. Now the Nets have had some success during the regular season against Milwaukee, but for the most part, Milwaukee has always seemed to have the upper hand against the Brooklyn Nets. Whether it's Giannis, whether it's Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Nets' old friend Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, before it was PJ Tucker, Grayson Allen, whoever it is on that basketball team, they've just found ways to give the Nets fits every single season. I want the Nets to go out there tomorrow night and make a statement against the Milwaukee Bucks. And let everybody know that the Nets are not just some fraud basketball team that have been beating up lesser competition. I have confidence that the Nets can go out there and handle their business against Milwaukee, because this is the basketball team I have been expecting to see all season, with the depth on this roster when you have 2 of the best players in the NBA on your team. I think the Nets can go out there and they could play not only well against Milwaukee, they could play up to par with Milwaukee. I think they could even play better than Milwaukee. Because as good as Giannis is, as good as Middleton is, as good as Drew Holiday is, and as good as their depth is, I believe the Nets overall might have a better collection of players and depth on their roster compared to Milwaukee. Boston might be another story, but Milwaukee, I think the Nets are at least close to, if not on par with them. But the Nets have got to go out there and show and prove that they can take care of a team like Milwaukee on a game-in and game-out basis. This is the biggest game, or one of the biggest games for the Nets. Not because of record-wise, and you might think I'm crazy for saying that, because why would he say that when this team has won 7 in a row, 11 of their last 12, they're now 3rd in the Eastern Conference. I say that because you have to look at the teams that are on the level of you, or the teams that you have struggled with in the past, and pretty much teams that you're going to be competing with in the Eastern Conference for an NBA championship. Milwaukee is one of those teams. And the reason why I say this is an important game, because the Nets need to go out there and let Milwaukee know that they're not going to be stepped all over, and the Nets are going to become the team that everybody has to worry about now in the Eastern Conference. That the Nets are becoming the team that everybody needs to be put on high alert. That this team means business. This team is going to go out there and they're going to surprise people. This team is going to go out there and they're going to play excellent basketball defensively, offensively, get multiple contributions, and they're going to be a team that Milwaukee and Boston are going to have difficulty handling. And it's not just because of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving being on the basketball court, but because of the multiple shooters you have out there, the multiple front court players that can play defense, the multiple guys that are two-way players, the multiple guys that can go out there and knock down the three-point shot, the mid-range shot, that can put back baskets, that can block shots, can steal the basketball. The depth on this roster is why the Milwaukee Bucks should be concerned. But it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what I say. The Nets have to go on the basketball court tomorrow night, and they need to make a statement against the Milwaukee Bucks that this team is truly for real. This team has turned it around, and that this basketball team is about to go on a monster run for an NBA championship. So I just want to make this video how I believe that tomorrow night's game against the Milwaukee Bucks is a statement game for the Brooklyn Nets to let the league know that this team is serious about competing for an NBA championship this year. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short that's dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And let me know in the comment section if you agree with my statement that this is in fact one of the biggest games for the Brooklyn Nets this season, going against their rivals, their longtime rivals for the past few years in the Milwaukee Bucks, and if they need to make a statement against the Bucks at Barclays Center tomorrow night. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take it easy, and let's go, Brooklyn Nets. It's a Nets world, and we all just live in it.